In this episode of the Coaching Circle, I'm diving into one of the most foundational, one of the most revealing, and one of the most transformational topics in business, and that is your relationship with money. Now, I want to say this right from the get-go, that this is not about budgeting or cutting out that extra coffee or anything else. This is a deep dive into why you might still be struggling with money, even if you've read the books, done the mindset work, and followed the strategies. And I want to walk you through 6 patterns that I see all the time in clients, in colleagues, and definitely these are things that I have worked on for myself as well from time to time. And they are patterns that show up at different points in everyone's personal evolution. Now, you might recognize one or more of these patterns in yourself. And if you do, it doesn't mean anything is wrong. It just means something in you is trying to feel safe, feel loved, or feel in control. So let's get into it. Now, the first pattern that I see is where people feel like money just seems to slip through their fingers the moment that they get it. So they get money and then it just seems to disappear just as quick. And so if this is you, it's not necessarily that you're bad with money. It's probably that your nervous system might still associate money with threat. And you might find yourself spending money as soon as you get it. You might be giving it away, or you might be avoiding receiving it at all. And this can feel very frustrating because you really want to have stability, but your body is in a survival response. And until you feel safe holding money, it won't stay with you. And so this can often be linked to early experiences where money was unstable in your family home, or it was unavailable, or maybe money even came with chaos. And when we talk about chaos, that could be where there could have been some kind of addictions or gambling, or that there was just a lot of fighting around money. And when we look at the work here around money, it isn't just practical, it's somatic. It's very much in your body. And so it comes down to you being able to condition yourself to sit with the discomfort of having money without rushing to offload it or without blocking it from coming to you in the first place. And so what you really want to be able to do is that when money comes in to your hands, into your bank account, just really breathe and, take the moment to just sit and feel in your body. And you can even ask yourself, right, what part of me feels unsafe with this? And can I hold this money like I would hold a younger version of myself, and just hold it there gently with presence without trying to avoid it or reject it or abandon it? And really get comfortable with just having that money around in a way that feels really safe for you. Now, the second pattern that I see is where people feel guilty making more money than the people that you love. And this is more common than what you might actually think. Because maybe you grew up around struggle, and that maybe there was a sense of pride or connection in that struggle. And when I say that, that could be where people come together and they talk about what cheap things that they're having to buy, or what they're making do with, or how much they're waiting for the payday to come in before they have any money. And people can really connect around that sense of scarcity and struggle, and that it becomes a bit of a badge of honor, or a place where people bond and belong to. So when you start to succeed and you start making more money, there can be something inside, like a little voice inside that says, careful, if I get too far ahead, I will lose my people. And so you might unconsciously sabotage opportunities, undercharge, or overgive to stay connected. You might even feel like that you can't make more money than what your parents did, or if you might feel like you can't make more money than your partner does. All of these can really come down to this feeling of loyalty, right? But the thing is, the key to understand is that true loyalty doesn't require limitation. You can honor where you came from without staying stuck there. And so sometimes your growth is what gives other people permission to grow as well. And so really reflect on this and think, if I'm worried about making too much money and what other people will think, or if they'll reject me, or if they'll think, oh, well, it's all right for you, or maybe you think that they'll start, expecting you to give money to them. I really sort of reflect on it and think, who would I be betraying if I fully allowed myself to thrive? This is a really interesting one. And like I said, if we've grown up with family that talk about money in a particular way, but then you are thriving, it might feel like you're kind of putting it in their face that, well, their stories and their hardship stories don't have value because you're thriving, right? So really think about this and really think about your beliefs around money and connection, and are they really true, or are they maybe some inherited beliefs? Now, the third one that I see is when people say, I know how to make money, but I can't stop pushing. So they're achieving and they might be ticking off goals, but rest feels dangerous. They always have to go. And money becomes a measure of worth, a scoreboard that says, I'm doing enough or I am enough if I'm making money. And this can be very exhausting, and it's not freedom. And eventually you either burn out or realize that no number will be enough if you're still trying to prove instead of just receive. In this space as well, you might make a lot of money, but you might just spend it as well quite quickly. And you really need to learn to separate productivity from value. Can you still feel powerful while resting? Can you be in overflow without earning it through exhaustion? And this pattern often masks a really deep fear that if I slow down, I'll lose it all. But real wealth and real power is sustainable. Now, you'll see these patterns as well in things like FIFO, people that are, work in the mines and stuff, fly in, fly out. They'll often make a lot of money, but it's like they get into this cycle where they can't ever stop being FIFO because they won't be able to sustain their lifestyle without it. So it's a sort of go hard and push, but not necessarily managing it in a sustainable way. And this can show up in business as well. And then the fourth pattern is where people feel like they are doing all the right things, but they're still stuck, right? So they're following the rules, they've got the budget, they've got the spreadsheet, they've got the plan, but it's like they're still waiting for permission. So you might be stuck in shoulds and I should be doing this and I should be doing that, or fear of doing it wrong. And money becomes about control. It becomes a real control thing, and control blocks flow. So no matter how strategic you are, the needle really doesn't move because there's no spaciousness, there's no room for flow. And this can feel a bit like quicksand. The harder you try to do it right, the more stuck you kind of feel. And so sometimes the antidote is trust and allowing things to be a little bit outside of the exact structure of how you think should be, and have a little experiment and a little bit of pleasure in there so that, you've got a little bit more free-flowing energy that's happening in that space. And, you can really reflect on, well, what would happen if I let it be easier? What if I didn't have to do all the exact right things day in, day out? And maybe you might still be waiting for permission or waiting for someone to tell you it's okay to want more as well. So really check on that. If you think you're doing all the right things and you're really getting a bit pedantic about, oh, well, I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And number five pattern here is where you might be hitting income goals, but it just doesn't feel how you thought it would. And this one is really sneaky because you arrive at your goal and you've made the money, but you still feel a bit hollow. And that's because success without soul doesn't really satisfy. It's not about more money, it's about having more meaning. And you might be ready for your business to evolve into something more purposeful. And there's a real big difference between having money and feeling fulfilled by how it flows. And this is the moment that you shift from goal driven to vision led. And so you really want to ask yourself in this space, is my income aligned with the impact that I truly want to have? Or am I chasing numbers that once felt like safety, but now feel like I'm a bit caged in? And in this space as well, we want to be able to really celebrate where we've got to instead of always looking for what is the next thing? What is the next thing? What is the next thing? Because really, whatever it is that you say that you want, it's to do with how you think it's going to make you feel. And so if you don't focus on making sure that you acknowledge your feelings and celebrate and feel like you've got some sense of achievement or fulfillment from what you've done, and then you just jump from one goal to the next, it gets very tiring and it feels very hollow. And so that's the fifth pattern. The sixth pattern I see is where people just really want to help people, but they end up feeling burnt out and broke. And they might be helping people, but they're not really making any money, and they're running low on energy. And this is the pattern that I see a lot in heart-led business owners. So, you might really deeply care about your clients and your work, but there's also a part of you that thinks that charging too much or setting boundaries makes you less genuine or less authentic. So you might be giving and giving and giving, but not being as open to receive. And eventually you resent the very thing that you love, because if you're not receiving in return, you'll start feeling very resentful for everything that you're giving out. And healing this means letting money become sacred too, letting it support your service instead of seeing it as separate. It's really appreciating the energy of money and knowing that it's a very, very spiritual thing for you to be in overflow, right? When you're in overflow and you're taking care of yourself, you're in a much better place to help others and to inspire other people to care for themselves as well. So really understanding that money is not the opposite of heart, right? It's the fuel for your mission. It lets you serve generously. And really think about this. Money is there to enhance the impact that you have, not compete with it. So really reflect on that. What would change if I believed that being well-resourced made me a better practitioner, not a more selfish one? Right? I know for myself when, I really made this shift and I was allowing more money to come into my business, well, not only did I have more energy and I was more aligned with my clients and working with my clients, but I was able to put that money, the overflow, back into the community, into other businesses. So, I had money available to reinvest into photography and, getting people to help me with my business and having like a cleaner and a gardener and all of those kinds of things that I could then pay other small business owners with the overflow that I had, that would in turn support me in having more energy to give more to my clients. So really want to think about that one as well. And this is really what I want you to hear out of this. And that is that every one of these patterns that I've gone through is an adaptation. It's a way that you learn to protect yourself. And money tends to be such a loaded subject in our society. And I really want you to give yourself a bit of grace and know that you can learn to create a new pattern when it comes to money, one that serves you, one that aligns with your next level. And this is something that I'm really passionate about. And I go deep inside this in Magnetic Business Matrix Masterclass. That's a free masterclass. You'll find the link to that in the show notes. And it's really the heart of the work that I do with my coaches and practitioners and therapists and service-based providers in business alchemy. We look a lot at our relationship with money, thinking like the CEO of your business and having structure that really supports you so that it's easy for you to receive and for you to feel really supported, so that you're energized and you're loving your work and you're serving, at your highest level, and that people are just magnetically drawn to come in and work with you. Because when I work with people and their business, we don't just heal your mindset. We really restructure the way you do business. So it's built to support your nervous system, your values, your income goals, and your desire to serve and make a positive impact in the world. And so if this episode has brought something to the surface for you, come and join me. I can assure you there are so many ways that I can help you with how you think, how you feel, the way that your business is run. And this is coming from someone who, I'm in my 10th year of business. I've been successfully running a six-figure business from home for 10 years. Well, full-time, I've been in my business for the last 6 years. And I'm, as well as business coaching, I'm still actively coaching regular clients as well. So I'm there doing it. And so I've got a lot of experience around the business side of business, plus the, really human side for both you as a business owner and your clients. And I'm here to support you in all of it. So come and join me as a start. Check out the masterclass, the Magnetic Business Matrix Masterclass. And then, if you want, you can talk about whether business alchemy is the next step for you. It's a 3-month program where you get weekly live group coaching from me. Plus, there is loads of content, as I said, recorded online. You can go through by yourself, self-paced, and ask me all the questions that you need. There's workbooks. There's so much support and information in there. And it's really transforming the way people think about money and business and themselves. It's quite magical. I'm loving that space. And so if nothing else, though, sit with this. Money isn't separate from your growth. It's a mirror for where you're still trying to feel safe and free and whole and connected. So thanks for being with me here today, and I will be coming to you very soon in the very next episode.